Hi, my amazing planner friends. It's Jess from my Magical Planner, and today I'm going to be planning out the month of September using this Miss and Meow journaling kit, as well as all of these little tidbits that I had in my collection. I'm just kind of flipping through everything so you can see what my base that I pulled out to work with was. I'm going to start by taking one of the torn paper elements, which I thought was so pretty. I actually kind of wish I had more of this particular graphic of torn paper because I just really loved it, the pink and everything. I think this was supposed to be actually a Valentine's kit, kind of that time period. And then I knew I really wanted to use this window, so I'm kind of looking at some different elements and deciding how do I want to put that together, and decided I wanted to hang it off on the side, but I wanted florals to go with it, so I'm just kind of thinking about that. I added in the typewriter, which I thought was really cute as well. And then I kind of layered in some of the smaller floral stickers, kind of tucking them in and behind so they intertwine with the window a little bit. I also wanted to put down the September script right away because I wanted to see how much room that was going to take up. I didn't want to overload this area with things and then not have space for the September script. I did kind of trim it down just a little bit so that it wasn't overlaid on the other elements. And now I'm just trimming off the top portion of that window so I can really see what the top is going to look like. And I decided I wanted to do the other kind of elements that I knew what I wanted there. Like I knew I wanted this scene over in the corner. I decided to put it at a slight angle just to give it more interest. And then I'm pulling in some of the bigger florals to kind of overlay and draw it all together. I'm going to trim that because I wasn't sure where I wanted to add that piece, but I knew I didn't want to just discard it. I did think about bringing in the other part of the window on this half, but decided it wouldn't look quite right and it was almost too busy. So I decided to bring in some of the other elements, mostly floral elements. At this point, I looked at bringing in the coffee pot or another piece of torn paper, but I didn't want it to be an exact mimic of the other side. So a lot of this right now is just me taking different elements and kind of overlaying on in the areas I thought they might work. I did decide to kind of stick with those bigger florals. I knew I wasn't going to use them in the middle of my spread, so using them here made sense. I did really want to use this film strip element up here, but felt like it was going to compete with the days of the week because I still had to account for that room. And this is me again looking at putting in that window, but I felt like it was too close to the other window element, and then this is when I decided this isn't going to work, it's going to be too close, so I just put it down on my spare sticker paper there and I'll incorporate it later. I also looked at putting down this element, but the sizing felt too similar to the florals that I already had. The coffee pot had the same issue, so now I'm looking at placing that floral in there, and I do like that. So I went ahead and kept that, and I'm going to trim off this other piece so I can really see what else I'm working with, because unfortunately there wasn't a ton of florals with the kit. Like I think I didn't order anything additional. I did contemplate putting that quote up there, and then again I realized, hey, I have the Monday through Sunday. So I decided I was going to go ahead and put those down so I would stop forgetting that space. So in the process of that, I realized that I could put down one of these coffee rings. This is a leftover sticker sheet from Sadie's Stickers that it came with one of her subscriptions. So she gives us these sampler sheets, and I just really felt like it kind of went with this. So I went ahead and pulled in a couple of elements. I have the coffee ring next to the typewriter, and then that stamp kind of frame that I put next to the other stamp. I'm just kind of looking around at some other elements, seeing do I want to add them in or not, but I loved the coffee ring. I thought that worked really well. And now I'm looking at my days of the week going, do I want to try and use one of the other ones, or do I want to use the ones that came with the kit? I did end up using the ones that came with the kit. I felt like they went really well. I'm looking at how do I want to frame them? So I had a couple of different ideas. These were just kind of header boxes, and it was too tall for what I wanted it to be. So I do end up trimming that down a little bit because nothing is really quite perfect. So I'm looking at different boxes that I can trim down right now, because what I wanted was a little pop of something behind the days of the week to give it a little bit more interest and help it stand out. So what I ended up doing is taking this square box that was a leftover from a kit. I can't even remember what kit. It was in my leftover sticker book. And I'm just trimming down the very top because I wanted that edge. And I'm going to go ahead and lay it down, and then I'll layer the Monday script on top of that. And I like the way that it draws everything together. And then I'm going to use part of another box that was in the kit to make my Tuesday, and just kind of trim down these other boxes to add visual interest. I didn't want them all to be the same, because if I had done that with the original box that I trimmed there, I would have had straight edges on both sides, and I wasn't sure I wanted that. So I'm just kind of trying to be a little bit more creative by layering this down and trimming it. I knew I wanted to lay the Tuesday on top of it first, so I had the right amount there, and then I trimmed it, which I think it turned out really nicely there. It kind of adds a little bit of a more dusk element almost to it. And then I was looking at the florals, but I didn't want to take in the whole circle, so I'm adding in just a little bit. I wanted to make sure I added in this floral because it's going to kind of go with the other florals I'll be using and incorporates everything and makes them blend nicer. I did also think about using that little swatch element that came with the kit. I am now looking at adding in a little bit more floral at the top because I can see how things are coming together. It's kind of how my brain works. Then I'm trimming down this particular little swatch. I'm going to use that for my Wednesday script to make that one kind of pop a little bit. And then I'm trimming down this little header to make my Thursday. There's the rest of the headers. I did kind of lose a little bit of footage in there. I didn't realize the battery died on the camera. I did add in the little love script that was in the kit up there at the top for a little bit of interest. And now I'm going through, I had these leftover date dots that were from Sterling Ink, and they're all coffee rings with, I think they're coffee rings. No, they're typewriters. Sorry, I have coffee rings too. And I thought they would go really well, especially with the typewriter at the top. And they just blend really well. And I love being able to use these leftover elements. This again was part of a subscription that I had. And I use some of the date dots, but obviously not all of them. So it always makes my heart a little happy when I can finish up something like that. Now, I still get the subscription, so if you want to see the latest subscription, I'll go ahead and link that up above. But she has changed her date dots to be just like these squares every month. I kind of wish she would change them back to these because I liked them better. I also added in some squares on the side because I decided I was going to have the kids' schedules more on the side than in the weekly, so I could just have the standout things kind of in the weekly setup there. So this is me looking at a few little things, trying to figure out, well, how do I want to mark it in here? And I wasn't sure. I actually ended up, I think, taking a break to kind of reset. But I knew I wanted the payday to kind of be with a floral, and I didn't want it to be, oh, then that's when I realized I put it on Saturday instead of Friday. Yeah, we don't get paid on Saturday. It doesn't work that way. But I also incorporated some of these other boxes that I had from Harriet Wright Design. I had gotten these, gosh, well over a year ago as part of a grab bag type deal. I haven't ordered from her in so long just because I have so many of her kits. You can go and look back at some of my older hauls and see that. I've been doing a lot of trying to use what I have this year. So I went ahead, marked payday. I also marked skate sharpening, and that little thing on the corner there is actually a butterfly that was in the kit, and I'm using a MIDI box to mark that Galentine's, which is a planner conference, tickets went on sale this day, and I actually got tickets. I was so excited. So that'll be my next planner conference. That's early February, and I'm so excited. Let me know if you guys are going to, because I would love to at least say hi or something. I'm a little shy in person, so if I seem a little awkward, that's usually why, because people scare me. That's the truth of the matter. So the next thing I wanted is I have that bigger thing on the 5th, and that's to mark the first day of school. That was a big event. And then I'm using another one of those circular florals to mark Labor Day, and I used a Paper Trail Plans Labor Day script there. The one thing I will say about this particular area is it was a little heavy now with the two of those next to each other. I did notice that, but I do have the area above it to kind of blend in as well. I've had these little bus stickers for forever. I don't even remember what Etsy shop they came from, but they're just clear bus stickers that I added on to that first day of school. And this is me going through my leftover sticker book going, what do I want to use for the cleaners? Like maybe I pull in this older bottle. I think that was, oh gosh, was it Rose and Tea maybe? It came with one of their kits. I think it was them, but I'm not 100% positive. And this is me trying to figure out, well, what do I want to do to mark it? Because sometimes things work and sometimes they don't. I did know I wanted some floral there, but I also didn't want another really huge element. I just didn't want it to be so busy. So I did end up pulling out my Crafts by Towie cleaning icons. I definitely need to order more of these because I use them quite often. And I'm looking at using some of the leftover boxes because it's a journaling kit, right? There wasn't a lot of boxes that I had that were prefabricated for this kit. So I'm going to go ahead and just mark that and add some floral to it to add a little pizzazz. These are, that's a floral sheet I think I got from an Oops bag from the Pretty Pink Co. And I'm really glad I'm going to be able to use most of that up. Then on the 7th, I did have my monthly massage. I do this once a month to kind of help with back pain and some other issues that I have. And I'm just pulling in a Joy of Planning little massage sticker. It's the only one I have. I did recently order some other massage tables from White Deer Stationery, so I'm excited about that. I did go in with a pen just and white out the line that was in the middle of that Polaroid. And then on the 8th, I am marking that there was the Skating Ice Cream Social. Just using a square box and some florals as well as some skates from Crafts by Towie to mark that. It's kind of showing you a little bit why I haven't gotten any voiceovers done this last week. It's just been so many moving parts with the first week of school and everything. And then on the 9th, where I have that tag that came with the kit, I kind of looped it around the date, and I'm using this to mark Daniel, my second to oldest's birthday. He had a really nice birthday yesterday and just very low key. He went bowling with some friends, that kind of thing. It was so nice. Today I was supposed to go to Renfest. That ended up getting canceled. We'd scheduled it 2 weekends in a row knowing that one of those would probably fall through because the friend I was going with, she manages a store, and so sometimes things pop up. She has to be there. So the next big thing that we had going on was on Tuesday, my husband has a dental appointment, and then I have to go to the gastro doctor again, and they're going to do like follow up after all my surgeries and stuff. I'm not sure what to expect, but I used just a regular box that I had in my leftovers, as well as a half scallop from Panda Bird Design with a little bit of floral, and I put the floral so it would overlay both boxes, and I kind of liked that. I did use an appointment leftover script to put in there as well, and it just kind of added a little nice flair. I also wanted to duplicate what I had done on the 1st with Payday by having some kind of floral with the Payday script. So I'm pulling in just this little leaf element and overlaying the Payday, and then I marked Renfest in a very similar fashion for this week. We are planning on still going. It was just she had inventory this last week, and it is what it is. So that was all I had to mark for that week. And then I'm marking house cleaning. I again wanted to kind of duplicate. How about that? What I'd done previously in the month to mark that, so that when I look at the spread, I can see at a glance, hey, this is what's going on. And I kind of recognize those. That was at least my thought process at the time. And then on the 21st, there's actually Megan, my second to youngest, so one of my middle children, is going to have some comprehensive testing done. She's had it done before. She has autism and ADHD. They're going to be retesting her to see if there are some things that we can improve on for her teaching environment, essentially. So to mark that, I'm just pulling out this cute little paper and calculator and stuff. It's like a testing icon, and I'm overlaying that over one of the circles that matches the squares that I used in the sidebar. I'm going to use that a second time on the 28th for the second day of testing, and I'm using a similar White Deer stationery icon. This one just has a coffee cup, essentially with a book. I marked Emily having her well child visit on the 22nd, just with a box and some florals. And then we have, me and my husband are going for a baseball date on the 29th. I'm super excited about that. Somebody gave us some Tigers tickets and it'll be fun. I took a little piece of, it's just like a little notepad that was in my White Deer stationery stickers, and I put score at the top because I like to keep score. It's something I do when I go to the game in person, especially with my sister. So that's pretty much everything for this month. I did go back and I'm adding some decorative elements to the top and just throughout, just to help me a little bit. Like I said, I knew I wanted to use this little element here with this film strip, and I wanted to use the quote as well. So I'm overlaying those and pulling in some of the other florals just to bring everything together a little bit more. And overall, I'm pretty happy with how it came together. Would I change a few things? Of course I would. I always look at these after the fact and go, oh, I should have done this, I should have done that. But in the moment, you just don't think about it. So anyhow, that's all I have for this month. I hope you guys are having a wonderful month. If you guys have any questions about this or anything else, feel free to leave them down below. And until next time, I'll see you guys real soon.